Welcome to the unofficial. Oh shit! Welcome to the official unofficial. Fuck off.
Welcome to the official unofficial CFD's podcast. Because you want me to say it? Because I could say it a little bit better.
You do the intro. Fuck it.
The entire thing. Well, no, you do it. I'm the guest.
All right. Shut up, then. Shut up. Welcome to the official unofficial Sea of Thieves podcast, a podcast dedicated to Sea of Thieves and sometimes other rare games, but mainly Sea of Thieves. Today, our main discussion will be the latest update Heart of Fire. We will also talk about our thoughts of the Hunter's Hall event, some recent Sea of Thieves news, and we finish with answering questions we've got from our own community. A segment that hopefully becomes a permanent addition to this podcast. So, sit back, relax, play some video games while we give you some awesome content while also listening to our beautiful voices. And the most beautiful voice comes from my wonderful co-host, Old Buccaneer.
Hey Pirates, how you doing today? It's Old Buccaneer. And I'm really excited to be here as a co-host on this podcast.
And today also marks our first ever guest on this podcast.
Oh, well, hey guys, I'm Whipped. I don't really know the cues because Mr. Blubber here didn't tell me everything, but fun fact, I actually helped Cozy start his first podcast, or YouTube channel, not podcast. Yeah, I didn't say that. Anyway, I helped him start his YouTube, and I gave him clips and stuff, and yeah, I'm glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Nice.
Welcome.
Well, you're welcome to be here. Today we are broadcasting live on Mixer, so if you're watching this, feel free to type in any questions you would like to ask us. We will discuss those at the end. And if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave questions in the comments. We will do our best to answer them as soon as we can, and we might discuss those questions in our next podcast. So feel free to ask us anything about Sea of Thieves, about Rare and other games, or about our channels. So with that out of the way, let's start discussing some news first before we dive into our main discussion. It's kind of old news actually because it comes from the stream February the 17th where they were talking about presets. John is unsure where that sits in the roadmap, but it's an obvious when, he said. And they will also likely expand that to clothing because they were asking about the ship cosmetic presets.
Presets, I think, are needed. Since I've started in Sea of Thieves, that's been one of those things I've always wanted. Especially now that I'm collecting all kinds of extra gear. Yeah, I don't like wading through menus upon menus to try and find my favorite flintlock when I'm in the middle of combat. I want a preset. I want to be able to set my stuff, pick my guns, and just be on my way. So
yeah, I agree completely. 100%. It's a must. Like every other game in the world has a preset, like with your weapon loadout, clothing options. And it's been a needed thing for Sea of Thieves. But they had a roadmap? I never knew they had a roadmap. Did they ever, I know at the beginning of the year, or, when Sea of Thieves first came out, they had, a roadmap, but I've not saw anything, until that, only, roadmap that they didn't go through, which is not right now. We're not going to talk about that, but I didn't think that they had it planned, but I hope they do bring it into the game. Honestly,
well, the thing is, when the developers talk about a roadmap, it's their own roadmap, right? So they know exactly when what is coming. So when they speak about roadmap, they know what they're talking about, and we're just guessing what's on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I feel the same way. Especially for players like us who are Pirate Legend and have been there since the beginning, we have a lot of cosmetics. And I really like to change my pirate up every now and then. So if presets are coming, it will be really sweet, and I really hope it's going to be sooner than later. So yeah, quite excited for that. They also, in the same stream, they also asked if they're going to make storage crates sellable in the future. Back then, they were talking about the ammo crates, and we've got it now with this update. And they might be doing it the same for the storage crate. So would you guys like that too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Storage crates, I mean, you could sell every other crate now. Why not storage crates? I guess the biggest problem is how much stuff do you load into it before it's sellable? That's kind of the big question.
I'm going to go against that. I'll go against it because I don't want it to be sellable. I want it to be viable. For me personally, I want to buy it, prefer to sell the damn thing, because the question is, if you sell the thing, how much will it cost, or what will dictate how much, what will dictate the price? Like if you put stuff in there, because I know someone was arguing with the fruit crate that if you have higher fruit in there, it makes the value go up, which is 100% false, because it's a random system that they have inside the game, and of course, it just doesn't work that way. So my thing is, I prefer we could buy them instead of sell them. But I could see how we could they could implement, like, we could get some gold out of it from our entire voyage or whatnot. Because I know right now we have multiple on the ship at all times, because they're so common in Sea of Thieves. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I say buy them and sell them as well. That's what I think. But
all right,
would you buy them as full crates or just buy the crate? I'm trying to think of balancing.
No, but just the crate itself. You know, having like 10,000 gold, because I mean we're swimming in gold right now. You know what I'm saying? If we've been playing the game since day one, you're swimming in gold. We can buy it.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah, buying them would be good. Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
All right. So that's a bit of a small news segment. So in short, they're thinking about sellable storage crates. We don't know, and presets are definitely coming, but we don't know when. So with the news out of the way, we're going to dive into our main discussion, which is, of course, the Heart of Fire, the update that released a day later, released last Thursday instead of the Wednesday. So what are your guys' general impressions of this update?
Oh, I love this update. It's a lot of fun. I just completed the third one last night to get the Curse of Rage, which is super sweet. Everybody should do it. Takes about 3 hours total, roughly, if you solo it. But oh man, the Tall Tale is fantastic. I think the whole update's really cool. I'm not a super big fan of the Pirate run, the Pirate Legend run, because it just feels like another reskin of a Reaper's Voyage. Mm-hmm. And I think the rewards for what you get are pretty lackluster. All right. I didn't get any Pirate Legend experience, any Thieves experience, because I'm Pirate Legend 10. But the guys that I was playing with were around 6 and 7, and after one voyage, it moved maybe an eighth of a bar. So you really don't get a lot of Pirate Legend experience, and then the actual rewards are no better than what you get on a fort. I mean, the money's the same. The only thing that's worth any money is the powder keg. So I don't know.
And the Villainous Skull too. In the Villainous Skull, because that's worth 1,000 plus as well.
Yeah, you're right. There's that one as well. But the trinkets and stuff are sub 1,000. So
yeah. Altogether, I guess it's okay. I wouldn't say it's the greatest thing. It's not the year 2 anniversary that we wanted. You know, as a PL. There's a new Tall Tale. It's super easy to do. The Ashen Curse looks. I like the Gold Curse more than the Ashen Curse, to put in retrospect, because I rather Tuck wearing the full Ghost set. You're hearing me right, the glowy set, than Tuck using the Ashen Curse, because the Ashen Curse, I feel like you stick out like a sore thumb compared to the blue, like Glen or whatever from the Ghost outfit and stuff. I prefer, for me personally, I prefer the Gold Curse. A, it's harder to get, and it's harder to get, and B, that the Ashen Curse is so easy to get that most of the community could actually get that curse super easy. And to me personally, I don't like how easy it is to get, because I feel like a curse should be harder to get than the standard like cells or whatever, like a ship hull. You know what I'm saying? Like in a Tall Tale.
Yep.
And,
agreed.
For me personally, it's like, but however, I love the chain shots and I love the blunderbuss bombs. You can triple gun now. I don't know if you guys know this, but what you do is you get a sniper or eye of reach and a pistol, and you got blunderbuss bombs, baby. 50% health. I love it, because I've been trolling the crap out of my crewmates, man. Oh my gosh, you're like, health check, and you throw one down. You can see if they're full health or not. It's awesome. So overall, I do like it. But it's a little bit like a lackluster thing for me, I guess, because I was expecting something more. So I guess it's my fault for having high expectations.
Well, me myself, I actually really, really love this update. I don't feel it's small at all since we have a tall tale. Granted, it is a fast one, but it feels huge, especially lore-wise. And we get two new weapons to play with. I think that's really amazing. Plus, I do like the Athena's run, so I feel like this is a nice big update. The only thing I think is missing is like a small thing to do, right? Because when you want to do the run, you kind of have to do it with somebody else, if you want to have a fair chance. And if you're just, soloing, there's not this small voyage you can just do if you want your Sea of Thieves fix. But overall, yeah, very pleased with this update. So let's dive into the discussion proper. We did hint at it a little bit before. We went a little bit in depth already. But let's discuss the new Athena's run. And to give a few quick overview, we buy one from Duke. It's 50 doubloons. Only Pirate Legends can do this. And it's 5 chapters in and around Thieves Haven. So how do you guys feel about this new voyage?
It's cool. It's a nice mix that's going to allow people to get back into a big fight, given that it's always on the same island with the other islands around the side of it. I think it's going to pull pirates together, which for me that's the most enjoyable part of the game is what's going to happen when you run into another ship. So I think that's really good, and like we had already mentioned, I don't feel like the rewards are really worth it, but I can understand the reasons for slower progression, which is good. And I like the ghost stuff at the end. If you get all of your trinkets and everything, and how you unlock all the super cool ghost ship, because I really feel like we needed to close that one out, and we were still missing half of the ship. So, but I like it. I'm going to keep doing it, and it'll be good.
It's amazing. This past few days, I've been doing these runs. I saw no one doing them, dude. And I was like, when we were testing them out, I was rubbing my hands like, "Ooh, man, we're gonna steal so much stuff." And it's been the complete opposite. Like I saw no one doing these missions, and I can't take anything, and it makes me so sad because not a lot of people's doing it. And it's kind of making me a little bit sad on that point. But however, the ghost stuff does look amazing. And I'm really glad that it just took 2 years for them just to complete the entire ship set. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, yep, we'll take a year. It's fine. I feel like it's what we deserve as a PLs that's been there since like day one. And yeah, that's all I've got.
Here's a question for you, Chris. Do you think that people are not doing it because there may not be Pirate Legends available to do it? Because it is Pirate Legend locked.
That is true. That's a great question. I think people are more focused on the Tall Tale and the Ashen Curse, in my opinion. Like, no one wants to do them. And also, I do agree with you. I do think there's not that many PLs out there as we think. But then again, like, you play, like, arena mode, there's a ton of PLs, which typically that's what I run, like, every night, mainly. And then we don't really do adventure too often. And so, I think for me I thought I had an idea of there's a ton of legends out there, and I think in reality, like, this update showed me, like, there's not that many, like, in retrospect, as I thought there was. And so, maybe, I think you are right, Mike, that there's not that many PLs out there that's willing to give 50 doubloons, because let's be honest, it's a high price for a mission that doesn't give you any doubloons at all. Like, if some of the trinkets gave you doubloons, I would say it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe, like, 5 here, 5 there, 10 there. It's worth the balloons instead of gold. And so, yeah, maybe there's like not that many PLs out there as what I thought, or we thought there were.
Well, you guys have different experience than me then. I've only done it twice now, and I always gotten into combat. I've sunk 2 bricks, and another brick kept running, and eventually we joined the alliance because it was getting a bit tedious chasing them all over the map.
I had a question for you. Was it an Xbox only server, or was it like everyone's there? Xbox only.
Yes.
Yeah, because the PC servers, it feels like it's dead as of right now. I don't know if you experienced the same thing, Mike, but right now, I know it's not about the subject, but it kind of feels like PC servers are kind of dead.
I think that's you're hitting the what's the expression, nail on the head.
Yeah.
Because Xbox servers tend to be just full Like every time on an Xbox server, it's like a full server, like 6 ships. PC servers, not so much. So yeah, so guys, if you want to do this voyage, you want to have an easy time, pick a PC server.
Maybe we just solved the mystery right there. I think we just solved the mystery. We just solved the
You're
mystery.
first in this channel.
Yep.
Right first.
All PC legends are playing Arena.
Basically. At least the sweats are, that is.
Yeah.
The thing I do want to address, because you guys are me, I'm not. I get cosmetics when I get them. Right, I'm not that much in a hurry, even though I like doing this voyage. So we're kind of rushing to get the ghost cosmetics, but what we also get is this new costume type. And you get that by completing this voyage 5 times. And the interesting thing about this is that accommodation and the costumes say it's catered towards Thieves Haven, the run of Thieves Haven. So I'm guessing, and I'm really expecting, like the next update, there's going to be a new Athena's run available for another region, which maybe has a new costume.
That's a good point. Yeah. I could see them doing that, for sure, yeah, and just start to unload different types, or maybe different cosmetics in the same vein, similar to what they were doing with the Ashen stuff for the last few updates. That's cool.
Yep, so you have this small reward, which you will get after completing it 5 times each time, and you have this big reward, which is the completion of the ghost ship, which you will get over time. So that's how I think they are trying to do it.
Yeah, it might be like a weapon set next, like the ghost weapon set. This one's like the ship, maybe next one's the weapons or whatever. Yeah, I feel like they'll do the different regions. They'll do the ancients, the wilds, and the shores of plenty.
Yep, yeah, I think
definitely.
so too. For me, it helps now that Thieves Haven is my favorite island. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It is the coolest island.
Part of it. Yeah, definitely.
It's just so hard to find chests on that island.
I don't think it is, man. I really don't. There's certain spots like on the map where it's hard, but it's like I've just gotten used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Chris, you are close to completing all the accommodations in the Athena rep. Is that correct?
No, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No. The animals are never gonna happen. The sharks, I just don't care about because I care about PvP more than I do killing a shark. So yeah, I'm kind of far, and the Shrouded Ghost has never appeared for me, even though I was in party with Captain Blubber the other day with a bunch of people, and I couldn't join. And
really?
Talk about
Did Captain Blubber get the Shrouded Ghost?
Yeah, he did get the Shrouded Ghost.
Kidding me?
I don't want to talk
You got the Shrouded Ghost?
I was in party with him, Mike, when he said, it's like the Shrouded Ghost, and it was an Xbox-only server. And, I don't want to bring it up, but I bring it up because I got salty about it, so... Just
salty about it, and I wasn't even there.
I was in party. That was the worst thing about it because I was talking to them, and he goes, "It's the Shrouded Ghost," and I said, "No, it's not," and it was.
Nobody believed me, not even my own crewmate. He thought I was kidding.
He was AFK half the time, dude. Come on.
Oh well. But when I asked the question, about accommodations, I was actually talking about accommodations specifically to the Athena's run, like turning in that different Athena team loot. Like, do you know what grade 5 is? That's my question, actually.
Grade 5? Yes. So on the thing, there's this 50. Like each one goes up by 10. So the max you turn in is 50 of each thing, of each item.
No. All right.
Well,
there
that's
we go.
not too bad, then.
50 is the magic number.
Yeah, 50. That's all you gotta do it. And a lot of tiers. A lot of the balloons.
So let's go into the next topic, which is the chain shot. It's one of the new weapons in the game. It's basically 2 halves of cannonball with a chain in between, and it's ideal for taking out masts, capstans, and wheels. Have you guys gotten the chance to play around with this new weapon?
Oh, yes, so much so. A couple of days ago, I was just testing it out, and I had a galleon roll up on me. So I decided to give it a try, and I wrecked all 3 of their masts. It took a little bit of getting used to because it does have a shorter range, and it feels like it shoots a lot lower than the regular cannonball, but once you kind of get the idea of the angles that you need to hit, that thing is devastating.
Yeah, it feels good. I'm glad that they implemented this, and I'm also sad at the same time because I feel like now it's going to be I hate to say it, but it's going to be harder for solo guys to solo a sloop. If a galley that's actually a bunch of good players roll up on you and they know how to use the chain shot efficiently, your mass is going down, and you will get boarded by multiple people at the same time. I mean, you can't get mobile, so there's possibilities of people not sailing solo no more on the seas because it's more of a danger now. I feel like more than ever because you got the implement of the chain shot, which takes down the mast and destroys the mast instantly, and with the capstan and the wheel, and your mobility is just screwed from right there.
All right. So I think I'm really happy with this because it does feel like risk first reward. Because something like this is really powerful, and the range balances it quite nice. I've heard people, I think we sailed with Joel, and he said, well, maybe they should make the mass of the sloop a bit more sturdier. How do you guys feel about that? So it doesn't go down straight away with the chain shot?
That seems like a possibility for sure. Again, like what Chris mentioned, it depends on how talented the crew you come up against is. But it would really suck to have your one mast go down and it's lights out after that. No matter who you're dealing with, you're going to lose. Or maybe just have the ability to raise your mast a little bit quicker to be able to get out of a situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe
I think
that'd
be the best option.
Yeah, sounds good. Another weapon they add is the blunderbomb. I didn't really go in that in my own review. But that's not really the point of my review to begin with. But it's so versatile. Like there's so many situations. This is a handy weapon, but I haven't found them all yet because it's still kind of new. But the uses I did have with it were quite nice, especially to get borders of your ship. So, you guys gotten into any nice experiences with the blunderbomb?
I've trolled people with the blunderbomb so far.
Yep.
I think my favorite thing is when my crewmates decide that they don't want to do their job, like sails, and decide to do fishing. Now I have two options. I can throw fire at them or hit them with a blunderbomb. So, that's been a lot of fun.
Just saying you're also with the wrong people.
I know. It's just my crew and I. We always goof around with each other. Other little stupid things that I've done, you can use the blunderbomb as a smoke bomb for yourself if you want, blow yourself off a deck. I threw one into a Meg's mouth once just to see what would happen. I've been doing a lot of weird things with it just to see what it does. But for boarders and for just trolling people, it's fantastic for sure.
Yeah, I do agree. I do think the blunderbuss bomb is it's more of a skilled thing more than a throw. It's like it was more skilled than fire. I'll say that because it's like you throw fire, it's like they're lighting on fire, right? But it's like the blunderbuss bomb. There's a certain knockback that it has to it. It's basically just like a blunderbuss, just in a small thing that doesn't one shot you, which I don't agree with. But anyway, we'll say that for a different day.
Well, you think the blunderbomb should one shot people? Is that what you're saying?
I said don't. I'm saying that the blunderbuss shouldn't one shot. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, the blunderbuss, right? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No skill, multi-kill gun. Yeah, I said it. Said on podcast. I'm not afraid to say my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Dislike video.
Yeah, everyone's gonna come to your video and dislike this. Hey, wait, he's like the blunderbuss. Dislike. It's like a multiple account.
Unsubscribe.
That's what's gonna happen. Unsubscribe. Oh, if you're listening this far, be sure to check out Captain Blubber and Old Buccaneer on YouTube. They make great content and they're very enjoyable guys.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Except
and also handsome pirates.
And very, very adorable.
Adorable.
Adorable. They're so adorable.
Another thing that's really great about the blunderbomb is the naval combat. And I don't know if you guys have been using it, but I've been watching a lot of other YouTubers doing combat guides with the blunderbomb, and I saw some really great tips when you use it in your cannon. Because if you hit a galleon on the back, it turns the front of the ship towards you, and if you hit it at the front, it turns the galleon or any other ship, it turns the back towards you. So you can really use it to position the enemy ship where you want it to be.
So it's kind of like a police pursuit, like it's like a pit maneuver kind of. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. So if you see a galleon rolling up at you and you're like, oh shit, I can't get away. They're gonna have an angle on me, like a cannon angle. You just hit the front of the ship and then they turn away, and they lose their angle again. But they still keep their momentum, so they still go forward, and you can just blast them, and they can't hit you. They need to turn around. But as soon as they turned around, like they lost the angle again because galleon turns really slow and they're a few meters further. So that's actually a really great tactic, but I think it takes a while to learn this because that's every time there's a new weapon, right? We're so used to reverting to our older tactics, right? Even when the firebomb came out, like we're like, I don't really want to use a fire. We were used to using the cannons, right? And now fire is a part of our PvP naval combat. So I think the same is going to be with the blunderbomb. It's only we're in a transition period right now. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I agree. It's, Blunderbomb is new and we need to kind of just experiment with it and find out what it does and what its capabilities are and how to best utilize it.
Nice. I do think it's really nice. I'm really happy we get more weapons as the game goes on. Really nice. Really good job, Rare.
Do you think they should add a weapon class? Like a new weapon class? To the game?
That's a good question. Like I've heard a lot of people talking about boarding access, right? That they want that, or what's it called? Like when you swing a rope and with a hook. What's the name in English?
It's a grapple. It's a grapple.
Grappling hook. Yeah, like a grappling hook. Like those things are really nice and they do fit with the pirate theme. Only I have no idea how to implement that into a video game, unless you guys have other ideas about that.
I would feel like it'd be hard for coding wise. You know what I'm saying? Because the servers could only take so much. And I wonder if they thought about the idea of that. But the problem would be is the coding and how they would access that. Because I'm intelligent enough to know that this game has a lot of memory used and a lot of coding inside the game and how they did the waves and stuff. And I'd feel like that would add another thing, and sometimes the servers are stable and sometimes they're not, so I feel like it'd be more stressful on the servers if they did do that.
Yeah, I could see that. I work on Tomb Raider, so we do a lot of grappling hook stuff. I know the mechanics of setting something like that up are not too difficult, but as a developer, I'm sitting here in my head thinking, wow, doing that on a dynamic ocean with a buoyant ship, I could see that exploding real quick. I could see that being a really difficult thing to try and land. But it would be super cool, for sure.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think there's gonna be more throwable items for sure, because we have an entire radical dedicated to throwable weapons, right? And it's only just 2 now. And I think they're gonna fill that radical a little bit more with other weapons. Not bombs like that, but maybe something else.
Potions.
I don't know yet. And potions. Yes. But that's an entire new discussion.
Future speculation.
We can talk about that. We can give that a place somewhere in the podcast. Yeah, we can do. I think we can do an entire podcast about that actually, because stuff like that is hinted at, but we'll see. And other weapon types, I don't think so. I think we're gonna stick with the main 4, because if you're gonna do like an axe or a rapier or something like that, all the cosmetics need to be there as well, right? So that's gonna take a lot of effort for the devs, and I don't think they're gonna do that. So that's just how I feel about it.
It's just like the title screen, right, of each update.
Don't get me started about it.
I'm sorry, I had to.
It's so weird because before the anniversary update, right? They changed it every time a new update was there, was new title, and now I've said this in my review too. Now it's only when there's a new tall tale, which is fine, but still, change the logo. But well, maybe I'm nitpicky, but I just love my title screens.
You are, by the way. Just saying. And by the way, he cares about what the ship looks like before we sell, so we can't mix and match things.
Oh, I'm
if you're
yeah, I'm really.
If you were watching, this is hilarious. but I would just make the most ugliest, horrendous ship look, and you should just hear blubber rage. It is so stinking funny. Like if you're in the party, you would be dying laughing because it's just that funny.
And I don't think it's funny.
Nice.
So
you also don't think the crab dab is funny either. So
no, it's terrible, and it was actually on sale, and some of my crewmates bought it because it's on sale, and they only bought it to annoy me. So that's the type of friends I have to deal with. So yeah,
and that's why I troll people with the blunderbuss.
All right, so let's go into the main event of this update, which is of course the Tall Tale, which adds a lot of lore. So we have a quick overview about this Tall Tale. We start at Morris Peak Outpost. It's not a straightforward Tall Tale. It's a continuation of the Seabound Soul. We learn a bit more about Pendragon, about his crew, about Flameheart, and about Stitcher Jim, and even the Forsaken Alliance. Most of it takes place in this fiery lair. So how do you guys feel about this new Tall Tale?
Well, it's awesome. I mentioned it earlier, but I absolutely love this curse. It looks so cool. And I know it's going to be easy and everybody's going to have it very shortly. I think it should have been a much harder curse to obtain, like the Gold Hoarder's curse. But, I mean, the Tall Tale's just awesome. I like the fact that they've added some variety to them. So even though I have to do it 3 or more times, it doesn't feel like I have to do the same thing. At least I have some new puzzles, some new challenges. Yeah, it's just great. And I like the lore. I like the addition of the story. Where now you learn, as we kind of already knew that, Stitcher Jim was not very trustworthy, and we find out that he's literally behind all of this. And you learn for sure that it's Wanda, because it actually says in the journals that, hey, it's Wanda.
It does.
So that leads us to future Tall Tales where we know that she's going to come back in some capacity, and we're probably going to have some awesome fighting. So it was great. I really liked it. The only thing I thought was weird is the fact that people really don't seem too bothered by the fact that there's ghosts running around. Like Pendragon. They're like, yeah, sure. Hey, buddy, what's up? It's cool. It's nice to see you. So that was a little strange for me.
So how do you feel about this Tall Tale, Chris?
How do I feel about it? I mean, it's an easy Tall Tale, honestly. I feel like it's too easy to get the curse, and I'm kind of sad that they actually put in a curse that it's actually easy to obtain. Which to me, because the gold curse before was the only curse in the game, and it was it was a grind to get it, man. It took, I think, it took me like 2 weeks playing every day, doing the Tall Tales, grinding them out, feeling how I can run them really quick. And now you do this mission that maybe takes less than 30 minutes, right on average, and maybe at most in total of 3 hours for the span of the 3, and you get the curse. I feel like that's too easy to obtain the curse, personally.
Agreed.
Yeah, this is a new set of Tall Tales, right? We had the first story about the Shores of Gold. If you did everything, you grinded out, you got the gold curse. That's your quintessential reward, right? And now we have a new set of Tall Tales. Do you think this reward, like if there's going to be a reward for finishing all the new sets of Tall Tales, that's kind of like as big as the gold curse? Do you think we still get that or not?
I don't think we will. I don't know what we'll get, man, for the new set of Tall Tales. Or if they are doing a new set of Tall Tales. I don't know what they'll do.
You don't feel this is a new set of Tall Tales?
What, this one that we just got? Is that
it's a continuation of the Seabound Soul. I always saw it as the beginning of a new set of Tall Tales.
I never saw it. I just saw it as like little content. Like I don't view it as like a huge new one. I just view it as like a small chapter in a book. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like it connects the dots and it makes your previous experience actually make sense. I'll say that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're right in the sense that it starts to tie all the little bits of lore together so that you have a holistic story of everything that's happened in the game and what's to come, obviously.
Yeah, I do see that, especially since this Tall Tale does connect a lot of the dots, like even from the Forsaken Alliance. Stuff like that is still part of the lore, and dots are getting connected now with this new Tall Tale. So I do get the sentiment that it's not more of a new set of Tall Tales, but it's just, what you said, Mike, like holistic, like everything belongs together and everything connects with each other. So yeah, I do get it actually, yeah. So let's dive a little bit into the lore of this a little bit more, because you're more of a lore person than I am, Mike. So if I get this straight, like you can trap a soul. We discussed this a little bit in our previous update. So you trap a soul in a chest. We now know it's multiple souls because the entire crew of the Black Witch is trapped in one chest. So over time, a trapped soul becomes a cursed chest, and Flameheart is collecting those chests, so we can use their souls to do magic. Is that correct?
It sounds like it, yeah. From that tall tale, it sounds like they're collecting the chests to bring back Ashen Lords. The thing that I found weird was in the tall tale, spoiler alert if you haven't done it, it sounds like Flameheart is granting the power to Stitcher Jim, and he's going to turn him into the Ashen Lord, according to the text as you run through it. I'm confused as to what the chest was for then, because he says you don't. At the end of the tall tale, he says, I don't need this chest anymore. So did he?
That's true.
But he didn't. He didn't take the souls out because you give them to Pendragon, and Pendragon saves his friends. So what do you use the chest for? That's the part that I don't understand.
Oh, right. That is indeed confusing. And they did touch upon it on the tall tale itself, because right when you turn the chest in at Pendragon, he says quickly, like there's still time, maybe, I don't know. Like I think there was a certain amount of souls needed to turning Setchijim into an Ashen Lord, but it didn't drain the souls completely. And the small amount that was left was still enough for Pendragon to turn the souls to the world for his crew. So that's how I got it. That's my understanding of it.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Like it would have been make more sense. Like I don't really like this type of storytelling. Like I want people to die and never return, because I think that's more compelling story. And so I actually wanted to see Pendragon fail, right? All right, like he used up all the souls, my crew is gone. Like really stress how powerful Flameheart is. Really make us want to hate the fucker, right? But on the other hand, I also felt that they wanted to have at least a kind of happy ending, so you can give the tall tale a conclusion. So I think that's the reason why they did it the way they did.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, yeah.
You've done the tall tale 3 times, right? Is that correct?
4, actually. I forgot a journal once, but yeah.
All right. Yeah, I've done multiple times too, because I was testing a lot of stuff out. Because you can actually take multiple routes at the same time. Like your crew can split up if you want, and every crew member can do another part of Tall Tale, which is quite interesting. And the other thing we were trying to test out is can you outrun the cutscene at the end?
I got really close once, but I wasn't able to get through the door.
We tested it. It's twice I was really close. At the moment Stitchijim is getting into the door, that was the moment I was there too. But the door is too small. The opening is too small for a character to get like really through. We also test this another way, and this is how I know why it's purely visual. You can wait there and wait till another crew turns up. You can totally do that, and we did. Well, actually not me, but a crewmate of mine did. The cutscene is only visible for the crew that's doing the tall tale, and for the crew that's not doing the tall tale, the door just remains closed. So that's how I think. Yeah, there's no way you can get into the door, because the fact that it opens is just visual. Nothing is changing in the game, right? There's no other room. It's pure visual effect. So the only thing I think this tall tale misses is like a good climax, right? This is a beautiful tall tale, so well designed, we get so much lore, but the thing we don't get is a good climax, because during the tall tale, Flameheart is taunting you. He's like, get out of my lair, and you will never succeed. And in the end, we learn, all right, this is part of this ritual, and Sister Jim is going to turn into a Nation Lord, an unwilling soul that's going to turn into a Nation Lord. So I was like, all right, so we're going to fight the Ashen Lord, right? We're going to see it. That's going to be the climax of this Tall Tale. But it's not. It's like, here's the box, and turn it in at Pendragon, and there you go. That's the Tall Tale. Just
Yeah, it was lackluster, man.
No fight.
I wonder. I think it's going to be like the next Tall Tale will be like a fight, probably. Like it'll be a continuation or set or whatever we get, possibly. At least I hope it is.
Yeah, I think it will be too. Maybe one or two down the way, but for sure. I mean, we're leading up to Wanda's return in some kind of event that will definitely involve Stitcher Jim the Ashen Lord. But it's going to be something. You know, there's going to be a huge fight.
So do you think it'll be like the Cursed Cells? Like a huge global event like that? Like again?
I'm so hopeful. Yeah, I hope it does. I was really hoping that would be, you know, the anniversary update. That it was just going to be, welcome to, you know, year 3, I guess, of Sea of Thieves, and here's this big global event. Wanda's back, huge fights, you know, new Ashen Lords. Just, you know, the thing that really drives Sea of Thieves and makes those stories.
What about you, Blubber?
I think it's just interesting. Like I said, I want to fight a Nation Lord. I want to see what they look like. The thing I'm wondering about is if it is going to be a skeleton, because the curse of the Tall Tale. Yeah, I know why you're laughing. I'm sick of skeletons.
I know.
I want to fight something else.
You got the hate for the skeletons.
Not a demon, a human demon pirate Ashen Lord, something like that. That would be really cool, but I'm afraid that it's just going to be like a skeleton with some flames out of his eyes or something like that, which I really hope it's not going to be like that. But we will see. The other thing I find interesting is that Flameheart is even the Tall Tale talking about the rise of the Ashen Lords, like plural. So, all right, so does he need more souls for more Ashen Lords? And who is going to turn into an Ashen Lord?
That's true.
We know it has to be unwilling souls, right? So it's not going to be somebody who was rooting for Flameheart, right? That's not an unwilling soul because they want Flameheart to succeed. So maybe Duke is in danger. Maybe somebody else from the outposts. I don't know. So stuff like that is interesting because it's plural. Are we going to get more? If so, who are the unwilling souls?
That's true. Well, I mean, if you think about it, the last few months, we've been collecting all kinds of chests to resurrect people, like Pendragon, and we've been handing in chests of rage to Wanda, which is all of the tools that they need to make those things happen. So we've already unwillingly given them everything they need.
It's true. It's true. Do you guys think we will be fighting the Nation Lord soon, or is it going to be a little down the road?
I'm going to say it's going to be maybe 2 months out. I don't think next month will be any Ashen Lords. I think we'll probably allude to Stitcher Jim's transformation, and maybe Duke, because Duke is still acting really weird, if he is affected by it. But I think it will expand the story more as to what's going to happen, and then the update after that is when I think things will happen.
Yes, that sounds pretty reasonable. You know, good stuff is coming, that's for sure. Did you guys have any trouble with the runes at the beginning of the Tall Tale, like solving the first puzzle? Was it easy for you, or was they you use your brains a lot?
Yeah, I used my brain a lot, Cozy, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it took me a while to solve it, actually, because I wasn't sure. I was like, what is the purpose of these things, right? Like, why are they telling me about gold, about Flameheart, about Captain? So it took me just a few combinations, and I was like, well, maybe it's Captain Flameheart. And then it worked, and I was like, oh, okay, it was obvious once you do it, but I just wasn't entirely sure what it was. I didn't know what the purpose of it was, I guess.
No, I was searching in the journal and around if there was a hint. Like I knew it had something to do with the runes, right? But the fact that you need to make, well, a sentence is a wrong word, but like a phrase is even the wrong word too. But spell it out. Just spell the entire name out. Wasn't that clear that you needed to do that. But indeed, once you've done it, it is clear. There is, however, a very big hint. Well, I say hint, but it kind of spells it out. If you go to your accommodations, you can see the names of the paths, right? Because you need to do each path at least once to get the associated accommodations. And they have symbols. And they spell out the puzzle. So if you go to your accommodation page, those runes, the pictures of those runes are the exact runes you need to enter to solve that puzzle. So yeah.
I did not know that.
It's something you only see in hindsight, and then you're like, oh yeah, the game gave me the answer to the puzzle all along. You guys ready to delve into the next topic?
Yeah.
All right, because next topic is the Emporium, which we totally didn't do in our last podcast, and I was listening back to it, and I was like, I kind of want to talk about the Emporium, and we didn't do it at all. So this podcast, we are talking about the Emporium, and I really want to talk about the Emporium. I can't contain myself. I fucking love the new ship cosmetic. It seems after... thank you. I did say I did say that about every ship cosmetic. This time, if you watch my review, this time I actually bought it. So I'm not gonna pester my crewmates to put it on because I was really happy with this one. I really like Conquest Bad Fur Day as a game, and I really like the regal look to it because one of my favorite ship cosmetics back in the day was the Ceremonial Admiral ship because I really love that red hull. And this one has a red hull too, but it's even better than that. It's so beautiful designed. Even the deck is red. So yeah, I bought it and I fucking love this ship cosmetic. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I haven't seen it in person yet. I've only seen it in the videos, but it looks really nice for sure.
Oh, you should sail with me.
I will.
Is there anything you guys bought from the Emporium this month?
I bought a few emotes that I hadn't picked up yet, but I haven't picked up any of the ship liveries or skins or anything like that.
I didn't get anything this month, but last month I did the St. Jude's. I got those sales because St. Jude's to me was a huge cause, and I'd sometimes go actually there to the hospital and see some of those kids actually. So to me, it was a little bit more personal than most people,
Yep.
Yeah, it was a nice worthy cause.
Mm-hmm. It was like the one before, or whatever, the first one that I ever did. The gaming
special
one.
effect sales.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I did buy those. It's also a great cause. Yeah, really nice.
But you like the new like the squirrel one? I don't enjoy the ship hull. Like I don't like it.
Ooh. All right, I guess I'm not gonna play with you then.
But, okay, there it is. I guess I'm just not getting clips for you then, huh?
Yeah, I really like that they do it. Just their heritage, and
I love the
all those great
though.
games are coming back. It's really nice. They're doing a fantastic job with it.
They
do need a sequel. Yeah, there was plans for a sequel, by the way. There's concept art of it because they did a remake for the Xbox, the original Xbox. It's called Conquer Live and Reloaded. It's called, and it's basically a remake with better graphics, and they did the audio all over again. By the way,
really?
So they used the original files of the voiceover. Only they didn't need to compress them, of course, because the hardware is way better. But all the music, which were composed by Robin Beanland, who also composes the music for Sea of Thieves. Compositions are still the same, but it's orchestral music. So they redid all that thing. The music is totally redone, and it's beautiful. I really like the music. I use it for my videos too. There's a lot of Robin Beanland in my videos on my YouTube channel, by the way. They had plans for a sequel in the same style as the remake. And it wasn't going to be about Conquer. It's going to be set in the medieval times of Conquer's world. And there was this war between the teddies and the squirrels. And that was the game. And you had this mediator guy, which was a death, like the Grim Reaper. He tied the story together. And it was basically going to be like a multiplayer game where one side was the squirrels and the other side were the evil medieval teddies. And there's a lot of concept art for it, but sadly no gameplay. The game got cancelled. So there was plans for a kind of sequel, but they didn't do it. They still need to do it. But we'll see. They're making Everwild now, Rare, so that's looking great too. But come on, Rare, make some of your old IPs, bring them back, do something original. It doesn't have to be, a platformer or something we expect, but bring those characters back. They're so good. Did you play any Conquest Bad Fur Day, Buccaneer?
I have not.
Did you play any other Rare video games from the past?
I have not.
Okay. Well, that's a fast podcast. To come back to the Emporium, the only thing I do want to say, and this is actually really cool that they did this. It's very subtle, but I find it out is really cool. So they're doing this new Lost Pirate emote bundle, right? And it's themed after the movie Hook, right? That's correct, right? So if you look at the tray,
no idea.
It's like eating the imaginary food and doing the roofie, you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen the movie, that is. But in the trailer, there's this character at the campfire, and they dressed him up in green like Peter Pan. But if you look at his face is actually very similar to Robin Williams, who played Peter Pan in the movie. And I think that's just a nice touch they did.
I'm going to have to look at that again. I did not notice that.
Yep, and I'm betting that if people are listening to the podcast right now, they're searching in the YouTube. Something else, this is new, that wasn't in the patch notes, and I didn't even discuss this in my review, but I want to mention it really quick, is a new interface for the buttons. Don't know if they changed it for PC, but on Xbox, the interaction buttons, the interface looks a bit different, a bit more cartoony. I just really like it. That's the only thing I want to say about it. I think it looks cool.
I have not seen it.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Me neither.
All right.
Never really noticed
so
it.
There you go. It's exclusive content for Xbox players. Something else we discussed before we start this podcast is the Skelly ship sounds with the spyglass. I think you want to talk about this, Chris?
Yeah. So basically, if you see a Skelly ship in the distance or a ship in the distance, if it's a skeleton ship, it'll make like a cool, like a creepy sound, kind of like a curse sound. Like it's like music essentially, and there's a cooldown on this sound. And so, like, if you see it from far away once, it won't activate for, I don't know how long it is, but the cooldown's kind of long. But eventually, if you zoom back into it, you get close to the ship, it'll actually make the same sound again. So you can distinguish skeleton ships from actual player ships now with that sound.
All right. Which is great if you're wearing 2 eye patches.
Or yeah. or
you're in the fog.
Xbox. Or you're on Xbox.
Your graphics aren't loading in. Yes.
Graphics aren't loading in that well.
No, that's actually pretty cool because this wasn't in the patch notes, right? This is something you found out by yourself.
Yeah, it was just in there.
It's weird how much stuff they add without actually adding it into the patch notes.
Yeah. Also, apparently they fixed the issue if you drop a keg and leave the game and your other crewmates die. Apparently you can't get the pink flame that easily now. That's what I've been hearing from my crewmate. That's what I've been hearing.
I would never do exploits on this channel.
Never. I wouldn't either.
There goes my Fort of the Damned over lunch.
Well, the thing about
that's actually it's bad news, actually, I think.
Well, the thing about it is,
that.
like, for the PC, for us PC guys, I can't find anyone to kill me. Like, I've had that trouble, like, you go around the entire server, and I can't find a single ship on the seas, like, at all.
Yeah.
And it's very, it's very sad. Compared to the Xbox people, Xbox One services, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I love that there's crossplay. I think there should be crossplay in the game for players that are on an Xbox versus a PC. The difference is night and day. I don't care what anyone says. It's like it's night and day. There's 100%. It's a clear advantage, but it seems like the Xbox servers are getting more attention than the PCs, or than more like the everyone's server. And for me, it's been hard to find people to kill me, or find other people to kill, right? Because typically we end up killing them instead of dying by them. So, if we do find a ship,
that's a good point.
My coworkers and I are in the same boat. We want to do Fort of the Damned, and we just can't. We just can't find people to kill us. Or you spend too much time sailing around to the point where you're like, this has been 40 minutes now.
Yeah, I remember when the white flame used to be the hardest flame to get in the game. Now it's the pink flame, by far. Like, I feel like it's the hardest flame to get.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's too bad, actually, because this game really shines when there's actually players on the servers, right? Because this is a PvEP game, right? It's not a PvE game. It's not a PvP game. It's a PvEP game. And the best experience, for me at least, are when I'm doing a battle, then I fight a Kraken or a Megalodon, I do a bit of a voyage, a bit of a tall tale, and then I get, oh wait, there's a ship on the horizon, let's fight them, right? And then they sink, well, they always sink, and then I go back to my PvE, and the nice, balance between those two, those are the best experiences I have. And if you don't have those PvP encounters, it's, it pulls the game down. And it's a technical thing, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Sad. So do you guys think they're going to work on that? Are you guys optimistic?
Whenever they change servers, I knew this would happen, that the PCs, the servers, everyone would go down in population, Xbox servers would be booming. I don't think you can find a balance for it without combining both of them back together. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they can fix this issue. The other thing they could do is like increase. I actually don't know how they could fix it. Honestly, the only thing that could take out cross platform. That's the one thing that I think of. But they're not going to do that, obviously, and I don't want to do that.
It's going to be a shitstorm. No.
Oh, it's going to be horrible. The forums are going to be horrible. The forums are already toxic as they are, and it's just not going to happen.
I think if they help make the server merges a little more intelligent, it would help as well. Because right now, they made those changes recently where if you don't anchor, you can still server merge, but you still have to be at an island and you have to be stopped. So if they could make those merges feel like they're a little more organic and they just happen, and get rid of the notification and just start pushing and pulling people into different servers, it might help, because then you don't have this criteria that you have to meet in order to populate your server again. Yeah. It would just happen.
Anything else you guys want to talk about this update? Anything else you guys want to mention?
Yeah. You guys, if you guys haven't already, subscribe to Captain Blubber and Old Buccaneer on YouTube.
Thanks for the plug.
Thanks for that. You can say it again at the end of the podcast.
Oh, I will. Show after the show.
So one thing, the last thing I want to ask you guys is, how do you feel this update compares to the other updates we've gotten?
Night and day. It's a night and day. This one's way better. The last one was just a filler, because I feel like they wanted the chain shots to be in last update. If you look at the title screen of, because you had the new crab outfit or whatever, and it was that picture, and I feel like they weren't prepared enough to be in last update, so I feel like this one's way better, honestly, because you got the new blunder bombs and you got the new chain shots.
Plus a new tall tale. I mean, it's a good update.
Tall tale,
And the Pirate Legend thing. There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot in this one. I'm very happy with it.
There's a lot of grinding to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree. It's from the last 5 updates, is it? Including this one, this is the best. This is a really good one, especially since we got Tall Tale. I said in my review. Ooh, I just love giving gifts to people, but
that was
not
so
the gifts
hard,
the developers have in mind.
Hard.
My gifts come in the exploding kind. I can tell you that.
In the name of the Pirate Lord, boom.
All right. So that's about main discussion. We're having some other stuff. We're talking about our Sea of Thieves friendly clubs. We're going to answer some community questions, and after that, we're going to end the podcast, and we're also going to have an after show. So let's dive into the Sea of Thieves friendly clubs, because we actually have the owner of that club in our podcast right now.
Yeah, it's right here. It's me. Yeah. If you are a content creator, you're more welcome to come and join. Post your stuffs, your streams on there, screenshots of your awesome hauls that you did, your hours of grinding, and then we'll steal it from you instantly and make you cry a little bit. That's a joke, by the way. But yeah, it's just a club that you guys can join. It's like a Sea of Thieves club, all about Sea of Thieves. Get groups, get people to play with. Join, and I would post a lot of stuff about Captain Blubber. Old Buck posts a lot of stuff on his, so you guys can check him out from there. And it's just a positive community that I've tried to build up, and I love that it would be grow and continue to grow. So also, we are thinking about changing the name. So we have an idea. I have an idea of what I want to change it to, but I want to hear like other names that other people have.
Because at the moment it's called the Sea of Thieves Friendly Clubs with 3 Z's, which, is like a cool name for a club when you're in elementary. So
really? Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
Okay, dude.
But yeah, like Chris said, that we are thinking about changing the name. So if anybody's listening right now and have cool thoughts about any names, you can put it in the comments, and maybe yours get chosen. But can you tell us what names are going through your head right now, Chris?
So there's 2 names that we're thinking about doing, and one is the Associates. That's what my group's called, and another one is called the Official Unofficial Sea of Thieves Club. Actually, like those, I'm not kidding. Like that's the other name I'm thinking of, which sounds ridiculous. But I feel like
it's a stupid name.
It's like I'm not kidding. Like I was thinking about doing it because A, it's clickbait, and B, a lot more people would join it too. So I mean, why not?
I know which name has my vote. I can tell you that.
I know. I could tell. I already know.
But yeah, let us know in the comments, guys, what you guys would like the rename of the club to be.
I know.
All right, so we have come to our final section of this podcast, and that is answering questions from our community. So we will go over the questions that were left in the comments section of our previous podcast, and if someone on Mixer wants to ask something, they can do that in chat. So let's start with the first question, which actually comes from my YouTube community, and it's a question from Lord Blaines. Thank you so much for commenting, by the way. He asks, I would like to know what some large updates you think should be in the game. And we did discuss this a little bit in our previous update, like what we want in this game. But he's asking specifically what you think should be in the game. And I don't really think anything should be in the game. If you ask me this, like before the anniversary update, I would have answered needs PvP mode, right? Like Arena, right? So we need something that is a pure competition. And we also need some sort of story in the game. And we have that now. So I don't think anything should be in this game. Everything we're getting now, I just see as extra, as enrichment. I think we should get more updates. I think they should be growing, but nothing that, that the game needs. Like, I don't think the game needs something to survive, because after the anniversary update, I can actually recommend it to my friends. And before the anniversary update, I could not. Still don't do it, but my friends are cunts. But that's beside the point. But now, but if somebody asks me, "Hey, Sea of Thieves is a good game," after the anniversary, yes, it's more needed. No.
Yeah, that's why every time you sell, you have to drink a few beers, right?
It's a good one. I'm getting thirsty. Maybe I should get a beer right now. How would you guys answer this question, by the way? What large updates do you think this should be in this game?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I kind of agree with you in your first sentiment. I think the game has had a lot of big updates, and I think it's in a really good place. We have this overarching storyline that's going to lead to other things that are coming. But in its current state, there's tons of stuff to do. There's stories, there's PvP, there's a separate PvP mode. It has everything. I can't even think of anything other than maybe, a different type of boss like the Kraken that is a once in a while thing that's super difficult to beat, just to kind of keep it challenging. But besides that, I think it has everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do agree. Before the update, the anniversary update, I could not recommend this game to people. It was hard to get into. But then after you had the anniversary, which adds so much more, in which I could recommend the game to multiple people, and like, hey, it's evolving. It's an evolving game. They care about your opinions, your thoughts on the game, how to make it better, and now I can. I do think they could add a few more PL-only things to the game that's only exclusive to us. Just like a few more stuff, maybe like a tall tale or two that's exclusive to us only. I think that would be good. But as of now, I agree with Mike that the game's in a great state right now. It's stuff that we've been asking for over a year now. They're being implemented in the game, and the community is growing, and YouTubers are growing in their channels. I know Blubber just hit past 500 subscribers this past 2 weeks, and it was great to see how he started, because I know I mentioned this before, but I actually encouraged him to start the YouTube channel because I believed in him that he had a really good work ethic, that he could grow his community into what it is now. And Mike has an amazing channel too as well, that he's grown and that he's made a lot of fame, how to solo, and that's blown up for him, his YouTube, and I can't wait to see more content from them. And yeah,
all right, nice words.
Thanks.
I should ask. We should answer more questions from the community if we get such nice answers. Oh shit! All right, I'm actually opening
And the drinking
right
has
now.
begun.
good.
I live in a different time zone. All right, so let's go to the next question, which also comes from the YouTube community from Hyperfrizz. He asks us, do you think it would be cool if Sea of Thieves had a live event or something when the masked stranger has everything she needs and does something?
Yes.
All right, what
Yes.
do you guys hope and think would happen?
Well, I mean, just as a side note, I don't really play Fortnite, but I do play it occasionally with my son. And we were there for when it had the big robot versus monster fight. That was a live world event, and that was probably the coolest thing I've ever seen live in a game. And if Sea of Thieves had something like that, where it was just a huge intro, server-wide, it lasted an hour or whatever to introduce the next thing, possibly Wanda, right, because we know it's coming, or possibly Flameheart if he's going to make a physical appearance. I think that would be just the next step up, for sure.
So do you think that crews need to come together to defeat a giant threat? Is that how you're thinking it?
That would be fantastic. I always like those scenarios, similar to Fort of the Damned, I guess, in the fact that they put you in a scenario where you should help with another crew, but there's always that chance of betrayal. I think that's the most exciting part of Sea of Thieves, is that interaction. If they put us into an event, and this is similar to when Wanda first showed up, where there would be multiple ships fighting Wanda's crews at different times of the day, and sometimes it worked out, and sometimes it just went into all-out chaos, and it was fantastic. But yeah, I think they should do that. Some sort of server-wide, everybody needs to sort of band together, and we got to make this happen. Same thing with the Megalodon. When the Megalodon was first introduced, you had to have multiple crews in order to even do the event. So it was very cool.
And betraying them, of course. As soon as the Megalodon is dead, like open fire, right?
Yeah, totally. Always. We're pirates, after all.
Yeah, arc.
Indeed. All right, great question, by the way, Hyperfrizz. So yeah, we do think it would be really cool if another live event would happen. Yeah, definitely. Next question comes from Rasputin Sloth. He says, "This is great, guys. I'm a new player, but this is so great to hear the open forum. Also good to get an insight as to how Pirate Legends think during the game." So this is about our last podcast. And he's asking, are you guys launching the podcast on Podcast Addict or other such platforms? I answered this question in the comment section too. Like, I currently have no plans to do it for other platforms because I like to keep it in the same spot. Like, I'm a YouTuber. I tried a little bit in streaming, but that's not really my thing. And the same with the podcast too. I love listening to podcasts myself. But for Captain Blubber, the channel, I want everything to be on YouTube. So I don't know how you feel about that, Mike.
I agree. I mean, we're trying to build out our YouTube community. It's probably worth us just staying with YouTube for the time being, and then if we do get a subscriber base that's big enough that is willing to migrate to other services, maybe address it at that point.
Yep. No, totally agree. So Rasputin Slot at the moment, me and Buck are both focusing on YouTube. We never know what the future brings, but currently we don't have any plans for that. All right, so this is more of a comment, like of an idea. This is also from Rasputin Sloth. This is quite a chunk of text. He's coming with a proposition for a new element to the game. Basically, he's telling, would it be cool to have a new gameplay element where you basically hide your treasure and protect it from other pirates?
I've actually heard this comment before about being able to rebury treasure, and it seems cool, but I don't feel like the feature would be utilized very well. You could hide your stuff really easily in the game right now. Bushes, up on rocks and things like that. So the mechanic of burying your treasure doesn't seem like a good use of developer time, unless if there's a specific reason for it. I actually ran into an issue in one of the updates where I was being pursued by a ship. I dumped off my treasure on an island through a rowboat. Then I mermaided back to my ship as a server migration happened, and I lost everything. And when I talked to support, they had told me that they tag things as owners, and they only keep track of stuff that is immediately on your ship or near the island that you were at. In this case, I wasn't. My ship had sunk and respawned off in the middle of nowhere. So I have a feeling that there's also a technical issue with the fact that you could bury your treasure and then have it persist.
Yeah.
Yep. It's true.
I feel
but the booby trap thing, now that is cool. I could totally go for some booby traps.
I could see them adding like a trip wire system somehow for the players to use, but I don't know how great it would be used unless if it was like the Reaper update where it was like one central island. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just that one island. Other than that, it would have been useless, kind of, unless if it's just so random. Some person's just camping on a random island, taking people's loot, which I do that quite occasionally, actually. And
I'm thinking booby traps in the tavern for people passionate.
Dude.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh,
or Reaper's Island.
It's actually really interesting. Yeah.
I feel like hiding your treasure, for me, it wouldn't be too beneficial. I just like to keep on the ship, because I've always been like, hey, if you sink me, you're the best player, right? You're the best player on the server. And so to me, I don't see there's a reason to hide treasure. I mean, the concept's really cool and stuff, but the problem would be the server can't handle so much loot. Because I've been on servers where we've sank like multiple ships and they've held stuff for 24 hours. And that server, I get about solid 80 ping, and it shoots to 150 that quick because there's so much loot on that one server. And when it hits the water, it just goes haywire. And so I feel like if you did add that element of you could bury and hide treasure, A, I feel like it would bog down the servers, and B, players would have a horrible experience with the server lag and all that, and be a lot more complaining, and there wouldn't Sea of Thieves, I feel like, would fall if they did add that. If they did add that aspect into the game.
So yeah, in conclusion, booby traps would be cool, but how they're gonna implement it? Maybe if they have a cool idea, right? Next question is actually a comment. It comes from Barry. Statement comes
it's
from
a statement,
Barry.
Cozy. It's a statement. How dare you put this in? Let me read this real quick. B, the squirrel, says, I actually really like both the pink crab outfit and the ship. Well, buddy, number one, why? Number two, you got bad taste. Number three, it's ugly, okay? It's the most ugliest ship in the entire game. And I think all three of us agree with it. Just saying. Okay, that's my thoughts, guys. You guys can take it out. You guys can go after it. But either way, we love your comment, though. And I really love you. Now, remember, to like every video, please. It's just the guest here. I'm a guest.
All
Remember
right.
that. I could say what I
You
want.
could totally
I probably won't
like-
be invited back.
You could totally like that crab outfit all you like. It just puts a big target on your back when I see you on the seas.
Exactly.
I just want to say, Barry, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Only your opinion's wrong. So there you go. Thanks for subscribing, by the way. This is not the only comment, by the way. I had multiple people saying this. Not on
Really?
the podcast, but yeah, on my review too. Like I said it in my
No.
review as well. Yeah.
No.
Like there's actually a lot of
No.
people that like the crab outfit. Yeah, I know. It's weird.
I'm
It's
crying
weird.
right now.
I can hear.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So a final comment from YouTube comes from David or David
David, Fustush. Fushos.
We're probably butchering your name. I think he's Scandinavian or from
It's a
Finland.
statement, by the way.
And
Cozy.
it's a statement. He says,
Statement.
"I'm happy about you making videos with Old Buccaneer. He's a great YouTuber as well." And I
thank
just
you very
thought
much.
that was a really lovely comment. Yeah.
I
So
appreciate
let's
it.
go over to our chat from Mixer. All right, we have some comments from Blade. He says he was like a new boss, like the giant crab. Yeah, we can make a question of this. So, how do you guys feel about a giant crab boss? No, I'm asking this with a reason, because we did address this in our previous podcast, because actually a lot of people, if you go to the forums, especially when The Hungering Deep came out, like after The Hungering Deep, people were like, oh, we want a new AI threat, and we want a giant crab. So how do you
I have
guys
a bad
feel about
mind.
that?
Like, to me, like, you could do like a giant snake. Like, I prefer a giant snake, honestly, or like a boar or something like that. But a crab to me just doesn't feel like threatening as like a snake or a boar. You know what I'm saying? At least for me personally. Because when I see a crab, I'm like, that's a crab. I can just walk there. They can only go a certain speed, and to me, they're not scary.
Yeah, my answer to that is
go
kind of the same thing. You know, I would like to see another large boss. I don't know what it would be, but something like the Kraken. You know, a very rare event that happens in the world that is something that you really need to pay attention to. I couldn't tell you what that would be at this time.
Yeah, no, same. I wouldn't know. I trust the developers to make something great. There's not something I specifically like. I talked in my last podcast, I do want more enemy variety, or just animal variety like turtles, tortoises, squids, stuff like that. I want more of that. Do I want another AI threat? Yeah, but I trust the developers to make something cool, which is also tied to the lore.
Yeah, I want them to do like a mermaid like AI that's like one takes you to your actual ship and the other takes you down to beneath the ocean to like try to murk you. You know what I'm saying?
That does sound interesting, yeah.
Because like,
and I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to tell it to our subscribers now as well. We are going to talk about that. We're going to go in depth into mermaids, but we're going to do that in our next podcast.
Wow.
It's a nice teaser to keep you guys watching.
That's why I said it. It's actually why I said it, actually, yeah.
Okay, great. And with that, we've come to the end of the podcast as well. So I would like to thank Old Buccaneer for, again, being a wonderful co-host. And can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Sure, and thanks for having me. You can find me on YouTube under Old Buccaneer, Twitch under Old Buccaneer, and also Mixer under Old Buccaneer. But primarily, just head to my YouTube channel. That's where all my content is.
All right, and that's some great content right there, I can tell you. And I also would like to thank Chris for being an awesome guest and giving us another person's opinion. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you want to see more of Chris, you can see him and sometimes even hear him in some of my videos on YouTube. I myself can be found on this very channel you're listening this to, so that's just Captain Blubber. So please subscribe if you don't want to miss any future podcasts, and after you subscribe to my channel, go to Old Buccaneer and subscribe to his channels as well.
Yes, please.
So if you want to do it. So if you want to listen to us live, you should not follow us on Mixer, because I fucking hate Mixer now. Technical difficulties. Oh well. I can rant about that, but I won't. If you maybe we're gonna do this again on Mixer, so if you want, you can go to Captain Blubber without space in between. You should be able to find me, and you will get a notification whenever we go live. And if you want to stay for the after show, you can. But if not, that's fine too. So thanks again to my awesome co-host and my wonderful guest. And for the listeners, I just hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. All right, so this is going to be bitch to edit.
No, it's not. No,
yeah,
it's
it is.
not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. Okay, yeah, it's gotta be.
2 hours, 7 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that long?
Condensed a little bit. It is pretty long. Yeah.
2 hours.
Plus,
7
there's a
minutes,
lot of rambling, a lot of audio correction, a lot of segments that don't quite go over that well. Yep, indeed. I disconnected. Oh well. I mean, it's you learn from this stuff like that, but it's a challenge. I mean, I don't hope every podcast is gonna be like this. I really need to edit because I'm kind of doing this to make my editing a bit easier. So let's see. But it was fun though. Like I really liked having 3 people in the same podcast right now. It's quite nice, if I'm being really honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think.
I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry about. I did not know the NDA thing. I totally forgot about that. So I apologize because I would not have said it. It honestly just slipped my mind. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and I'm gonna cut this out by the way, and we still have people listening on Mixer, so keep it in mind. So the thing is, you can't mention anything. Like even if something is in the game, even if something didn't change at all, you can't mention it at all because they can actually find clues of the things you avoid and the things you do say, and that's not something rare once. So let's be very careful with that.
Even though anyone can join.
Even though anybody can join, that's true.
Which doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
That's
And you can also get nice rewards if you join the Insider program. If you want to see a video about that, yeah. With all the Insider rewards, you can on Captain Blubber on YouTube.
That's true. Oh, welcome. Oh, yeah, I got to do my intro. You forgot. I had to do my intro.
Welcome
to the show. After the show, I'm your guest, Whipped36, or Willie36 from Nova. I'm here with Captain Blubber, a.k.a. Walter the Blubber, or whatever. And we got, also, he's a potato aim, just saying. He made a video about me, so they called him a potato aim, and he made all of his shots hit and all that. Then we got Buccaneer. Welcome to the show after the show.
Woo!
Woo!
All right, so tell us, what's the first topic?
The first topic we're going to talk about the Crew of Rage, second opinions.
You're going to do an interlude to that, or?
I was thinking about what the Crew of Rage is, which is it's not the top now.
This previous update.
It was the previous.
This is the reason why me and Buck are the hosts of this podcast, Chris.
You know what? This is the show after the Dajim show. Okay, the guests will take this. The Crew of Rage. So I feel like the hardest thing about that was the 1,000 skeleton burns, and to me, some of them didn't even register. Did y'all have the same experience? Because I know Buck talked about in the previous podcast, like he went on a skeleton ship, got a bunch of them, and tried to burn them, and none of them counted. Which to me, I felt
very frustrating.
Yeah, because I felt like that was like a glitch, like the first few days, and even after towards the end, where the chest, like when you hit the chest, it made like a hit marker or whatever. Like sometimes I would not even get that. And the chest would burn and the skeletons wouldn't count at all. So I wasted a bunch of hours on it. But I know this update, I don't know if it's true or not, but if you hit a GP skeleton, it actually counts apparently as a burn. Because after doing these, the new Athena runs, they actually somehow count. Like my count is increasing. Have y'all saw the same?
Well, what do you mean with GP skeleton?
Whenever gunpowder's like goes out, the skeletons will catch fire for half a second, then they'll explode. I don't know if you've noticed that, but every time it seems like they burn, they're taking technically fire damage and increasing your skeleton count. Really, that's my experience. I don't know if y'all have experienced the same thing, or is it just
that
me,
makes
or
sense. Yeah. I mean, I learned just recently that you don't actually have to kill the skeletons with fire. They just have to take fire damage. Because I had lit a few of them on fire and they hadn't died yet, and I got the accommodation. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Really?
So it makes sense that if a gunpowder goes off and the skeleton's on fire, that it counts.
Okay, because I know the other like accommodations, they didn't have to die; they just had to have been caught in a group of 3 on fire or a group of 5 on the fort with another crew. Have y'all completed that accommodation? Because I know I got that towards the end of last update.
I have yet to find a single crew doing that fort.
Yes,
it's still locked for me. Yep.
Really? Wow, because I know Molten Sands, I could not find anybody. And the one time I got it, we got a multiple server. We got like basically 2 ships on a server, and I was on the ship, my buddy was on the other ship. That's the only way we got it. And it was, to me, one of the hardest accommodations in the game, or until, like, I guess now, because the forts are everywhere now compared to Molten Sands. Which I don't understand that like they did that, because to me the Roar is a horrible place for like new players. Like if you were it's a horrible place.
It is.
Yeah, because you add fire damage, that fire element, and now everything burns. Now, like it's just a horrible place to be for a new player. Like as a new player, you play it one time, you try to do this Crew of Rage mission or whatever in this little thing, you get murdered, and you're like, I'm never playing this game again. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I felt like that update was more entwined to more experienced players. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, or you guys got any more thoughts on this subject?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I even mentioned that in the last update, that this seems like it's very intimidating for new players to even attempt. And the few people that had contacted me after we did our podcast said the same thing. They don't even go into the Roar. They don't want to. It's too hard for them. As a new player, they don't have the skill set to be able to handle their ship, to handle fire, to handle holes, to handle their mass going down, to avoid getting blasted by a volcano while fighting skeletons. I mean, it's too much for them. They just get overwhelmed and they sink. And it makes sense. It's an advanced combat area, but to put an entire month's worth of content into that one area, I think was a mistake.
All right, guys, you got anything else to say?
I want to kind of expand on it a little bit, because it was the only fort active last month. I said in my review, I don't really get it why. Probably some lore, but I don't care. And no, after I said it in my review too. Like after an entire month, 3 weeks. 3 weeks this update, I've done a lot of the voyages with the Chest of Rage. I helped my crew. I had a blast doing that. Were really good for gold, those voyages, but the fortress itself didn't do it a single time. Not a single time. So 3 weeks long, I didn't do an entire fort.
Yeah,
I did too. Same here.
Well, I did the fort once just to do it. But but to actually get the accommodation with another crew, for the entire month, there was not a single crew that did that fort.
Yep.
I tried once. There was a brig that had rolled in, and it was a new brig. They were, default skins. And a galleon rolled in, and I thought, finally, I'm like, great, guys, let's do this. And I'm yelling at, I'm friendly, let's just do the accommodations. And they both ended up shooting each other and sinking. And nobody did the fort.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So, yeah, it was not well thought out. I mean, we'll get it now that there's forts everywhere. I'll just jump on and do it. But, yeah, I think the intention of what they wanted to do was lost.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to go on, or do we want to go on to the next topic?
Next topic?
Next topic should be doing. Yep.
Sweet. So they implemented last update the pirate appearance potion, and I felt like this was a necessary thing that they add to the Emporium, which costs 149 ancient coins, which I think is a fair price to say if you want to change your pirate. I know a lot of my friends wanted to change, and some actually grew and fell in love with their pirate. What do y'all think about was this a needed thing for everybody to change their pirate if they wanted to, or not?
Well, the reason why this is in the topic list is one of them we didn't discuss in the last podcast, and I felt we actually needed to do that because before the pirate appearance potion came to the game, there was so much bitching on the forums. Like, people wanted to change their pirate. Like, I don't know, like every 1 in 3 forum post was about that subject. And people have been wanting that since the beginning, since Sea of Thieves. And I actually expected this to be bigger news than it was, because when it got released in the Emporium, people was like, all right, that's neat. But after that, nobody was talking about it anymore. And that's a bit weird because Rare does listen to our feedback. They do that a lot. We ask for fishing, we get fishing. We ask for a new instrument, we get a new instrument. We ask for story, we get story. And we also asked for a way to change our character without losing progress, and we got it. And I felt like the community could have brought a bigger thank you to Rare, and that didn't come. But maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe people are like, oh, really nice, and then they're like, forget about it, that's even added to the game. But me personally, I really like that they listen to our feedback and that we have something in Emporium that we can do. I'm not going to do it, but I think it's really great that it's there, the option.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm glad they added it. I know there was a lot of people who, originally made a pirate and probably assumed that later on they could change them, and then were unhappy with the way that they looked, being locked in with all your skills. So the ability to change is a great feature. I think the price point at 149 coins feels fine. I mean, it's $1.50 US. So, it's not outrageous. It helps Rare. It's something affordable by pretty much anybody if you feel that strongly that you need to change your pirate. So, I'm fine with it. You're right, though, in the fact that there really wasn't a lot of fanfare or praise or comments after it happened, which, you're right. You would expect that people would be like, hey, I'm very happy with the fact that I get to change my guy after asking for a year, so thank you.
However, I do feel like the thank you is purchasing the ancient coins.
Yeah, there's that too.
If I'm being honest, like that's the thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like spend $2 or whatever. Point. So,
but if you, and I've said this before, I even commented on those forum posts, people that were saying, "Oh, you can't say my part," and I was like, "Yeah, but it's never the intention. You can, you can delete it.
You can delete it and start over again. That was a problem."
They said it in the beginning when Sea of Thieves was really in the early stages. They said you won't be able to change the pirate because we want them to be unique. We want players to be recognized by their pirate appearance and not by their gamer tag. Yeah. And I love that sentiment. Like I get that a lot of people don't agree with that, but I do love that sentiment because that's one of the parts what makes this game unique. So it's your pirate. And the fact that you need to pay real money is adds to that because. Sure, the option is now there, but you also think about it because it costs money. So you don't do it like every time. Oh, I want to be a skinny black guy right now, or I want to be like a fat jolly pirate like Captain Blubber, like my personal hero. Like I get that. Like you, but you think about that. Like it's not you don't do it on a whim, which is really nice. So if you make the change, you probably. Really think about it and make the right choice, and you're not going to change it again. It's probably something you do once, and after that, people still recognize you. Like that's your unique pirate. That's you. You're part of the game now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. So, and I think the majority of the thing comes from the cosmetics you wear. A couple of the guys that I sailed with changed their pirates. And to be perfectly honest, I've been sailing with these guys from the beginning, and I was like, yeah, you kind of just look like you. Just a slightly skinnier version. But it's the cosmetics that kind of drive what your player looks like. That's what people remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't remember how big your nose was.
Yeah. It's like the hair you put on or the beard you put on. Or the clothing, mainly. All right. All right. So y'all know the Chest of Rage? Well, I do know there was an exploit where you could put the chest on a barrel and it wouldn't catch your ship on fire. And from last update. And what do y'all think that was intentional, or was that like a little exploit that they didn't mean to happen, but it happened? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, certainly.
it was a bunch of mechanics coming together that just worked. Because I see what they're doing. You have to bail onto the chest, and it uses up the water. That makes sense. You put it in the water, it boils the water. That makes sense. Fire goes out if there's water at the bottom of the deck, so that makes sense. And if you put the chest up on a barrel, the floor can't get lit on fire. I mean, all of that to me made sense and was intentional.
Yes.
The thing that I don't understand is why the top deck doesn't catch on fire. At least being on a sloop. I mean, it's obviously different based on the different ships you use.
Well, I think if you program the chest if it was in the hull, right, on the bottom floor, and you program it to set the hull on fire, but also make it that the top deck catches fire, you got two decks that catch on fire at the same time. And I think that's a bit too much, and that's why they didn't program it like that. And
Yeah,
that's
actually, that's a
also
good
the reason
point.
why you can use that exploit. If people are still a little bit confused while listening to this, so the trick to not get your ship on fire basically is you get water in the hull and then you place it on the barrel. And for the sloop, it's right next to the middle of the ship in the hull, and it's at the end for the brigantine. So what will happen is if the chest explodes, nothing can catch on fire. Only when you're close to the chest you will catch on fire, but your ship will be fine. Nothing to worry about.
Shoot, I feel like it was programmed to, like, whatever surface it was on, it was supposed to catch on fire what was beneath it. Does that make sense? Like if it's on top deck, of course it's gonna get that top part, but it won't go through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that was the programming behind it.
Yeah.
Instead of going to what
you
up
could
top.
get into a situation where you have fire immediately all over your ship if you didn't do that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll do the next topic then. So it's about the mermaid, because we discussed this a little bit in our previous podcast, but we didn't really give our verdict because we needed to test it a little bit more. And I am talking about the new mermaid respawning. So the thing is, it spawns faster if you're near your own ship, or if your ship is sailing away, or when you're near an island. And this works pretty well. Only when you're near an enemy ship, it doesn't spawn that frequently anymore. And now we've tested this a little bit more, and my opinion is I fucking hate this. I don't solo often on the sloop, but when I do, I still like to get in combat whenever I can. As a solo player, you need to use your mermaid way more often when you're in PvP. If you miss your board, you want to get back to your ship as soon as possible, and that wasn't always the case. So I didn't have that much great experiences with my PvP encounters as a solo player, because I want my mermaid to spawn faster, and that wasn't happening. So that's my revisited opinion about that.
Yep, I totally agree. I solo sloop almost primarily, and I had the same opinion in our last discussion, even with limited testing. And over the last month, I've confirmed it. I've lost fights because I get knocked off my ship, and I have zero ability to get back onto it.
Yeah.
When I should really be able to at some point, and I just can't. And it also has made boarding substantially harder, because now I'm apprehensive about trying to board a ship that I wouldn't normally, or that I would normally board, because if I miss it, I know that I lose. And that, I mean, it's granted, it's one of those things, it's a new learning curve, but it is punishing as a solo player, this mermaid change.
It is. So let's hope the developers listen to this podcast and change that for us.
Or they won't. What's y'all's future for, like, your YouTube channel, your YouTube? Because I know you guys are still growing. Do you have any future plans for next content, or are you just waiting for the next big thing and see Thieves to make a great vid about it?
Well, I just recently launched a community spotlight that I've been working towards. So I have 4 or 5 videos you're in one of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You should call it being trolled by Mr. Blubber himself or something, by Potato Aim or something like that.
Exactly what it was going to be labeled, was trolling. Yep. So, yeah. So I'm working on one of those. So far, it's been pretty well received. The tricky bit is I didn't really film the videos in a way that they were edited for something like this, so that's been a bit tricky. But they're coming, and I'm about 90% complete with the most recent Tall Tale walkthrough, step by step. So that will be out probably tomorrow.
Doing that.
Wow,
that's interesting.
Too bad Blubber wouldn't do that.
So those are the two things. I've got the community spotlight happening. I've got this latest Tall Tale, and I have a PvP video in the works, but I'm just been waiting to try and get some last minute footage, which has been rather tricky.
Really? Okay, I got you. So, Mr. Blubber, you just recently released your new update vid, which less than 24 hours almost has 1,000 views. So, congratulations!
Oh yeah.
You released a insider video.
I did. Somebody gave me this great idea to do an insider video about all the rewards. That guy was
really?
Yeah. He's a bit of a dick normally, but I'm happy. Sometimes he has good ideas.
Yeah,
thank you.
It sounds like.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. So basically, it was me. I gave him the idea because he was so far into it, and you should have. And congratulations for the success you've gotten on YouTube this far. Do you have any future plans for your channel? Do you expand to go to streaming? I'm just rambling on some ideas. Do you have any plan? What's your future plans for your brand?
Well, I'm gonna release a step-by-step guide for Heart of Fire in about 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
And no, I'm not. I'm
gonna say, I'm like, oh no.
No, that actually, I want to address that because if people are listening, me and old Buccaneer, we both do really different stuff. Like I said this in the previous podcast, we are like-minded people, but our videos are really different. Like, he does guides, I don't. He does combat tips, I don't. I do update reviews, glitch videos, that sort of stuff. That's my channel. So all the more reason to subscribe to us both, of course. And for the future of my channel, I do want to do more podcasts. Because I really like talking with the community about and their opinions about this game. I think stuff like that is really interesting and also really fun to do. But for the other videos, not really that much plans. Of course, I'm going to do Sea of Glitches. I'm going to do another Pirate's Guide, probably. And of course, people can always expect a update review each time an update comes out. So there you go. Oh, there is one video I'm going to do in April because in April marks the 1-year anniversary of my own channel. So I'm going to do a video about that. So that's a video I've got planned. Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. It's awesome. All right. I think this concludes the podcast, the show after the Dad Jim Show. This has been your host and guest, Whipped36, for the show after the show. I'll get better at it if they invite me back, but they probably won't. But it'll probably be after I start my streaming career. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for listening. Stay safe out there. I know we got the virus happening out there. Just stay safe. And remember to subscribe to Captain Blubber and Old Buccaneer on YouTube. Go check out their content. They're awesome people. They're awesome guys. And just go check them out, subscribe to them, give them a thumbs up, and tell Blubber how much he has potato aim. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.